Hello, in this video, we're going to go over elevations. Um, to start, I'm going to navigate to my floor plan view, and then I'm going to come up to the View tab, and I'm going to click Elevation. I'm going to come over here and make sure that I have an interior elevation, not a building elevation. We want an interior elevation. If you don't have an elevation hovered to your mouse, it could be that you have your elevations turned off. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like and how to fix that. So if I were to go to elevation and then place it, if I get this warning that says none of the created elements are visible in the floor plan view, check the visibility settings. If you get that error, we're going to come up here to view and visibility graphics. And then we're going to come over to our annotation categories and navigate down to elevations and just turn those back on. If you had those turned off, chances were that we wanted the building sections gone. So then we can just hide the building sections manually by right-clicking and hiding the element. So once we get our elevation placed, I'm going to make sure that my elevation, we don't want all of this text here. So I'm going to click my elevation, going to hover around it until I see that blue box, and I'm going to click one time. Then I'm going to come to Edit Type, and in the elevation tag graphics, we're going to click this three dots on the right side, and then we're going to do the drop down for the elevation mark, and we're just going to do the elevation mark body circle filled arrow. We don't want the name. So we're going to click OK and OK. And then these little dashes will be automatically filled in once we place the elevations on a sheet. So now that we have our elevation marker how we want it, I'm going to select the marker again, and then I'm going to check all four boxes to make sure that I have an elevation for each wall of the bathroom. So before I get started on that, I'm going to hover over one of the black arrows, and I'm going to click one time. And then this will show me this elevation box. So if your elevation is looking weird, this is a great place to come check. If your box is in the middle of the wall, it will only show to the middle of the wall. So we like to just hover it right outside the wall. If this blue line is inside of the cabinet, you'll actually slice and see inside of the cabinet or inside the toilet. So we're just going to make sure that that hovers right outside of it, or right outside of what you want to look at. Same for this one, if we just want to see the bathtub and not the water closet, we'll just double check those. So once we have our elevations, how we want them, now we can go in to our elevations. So I think I'm going to rename them first. So if you come over here to views, you'll have your building elevations, and right underneath you'll have your interior elevations. So I'm going to double click on this one here. Well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start at the north arrow. So I'm going to start with this one. So this up would be my north elevation. So I'm going to double click on this one, and I'm going to right click over here and rename this to be my north bathroom elevation. Then, so that's north, and then this will be my east. So I'm going to double click on that and come over here and rename this to be my east bathroom elevation. And then this one will be my south. South bathroom elevation. And then my last one, which is the C, will be my west Okay, so now we've got all of our elevations named. It looks like this came in from my other project. So I'm just going to fix this really quick. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to leave it like this. So now I'm going to start with my north restroom elevation. So this is looking at the bathtub. So I'm going to come here to my visibility graphics, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off my grid lines, and I want to turn off my levels. So my level is this first floor level. And then I'm going to tighten in my elevation box. So if I came forward, this is the ceiling right here. So we just want to tighten that in to the ceiling. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So now I've cleaned up that one, and I'm going to go through and clean up the rest of my elevations by turning off the grid and the levels, and then making sure I'm only seeing what I want to see. We just want to see the floor there. Same thing here. We're going to come up to grids and levels, turn those off, and then we'll tighten this crop view box right up to the end there. And then here's our last one. Grids and levels. And then tighten up our box. Okay. So then what we can do is we can add, now we can add our dimensions and elevations, or excuse me, our tags. So we're just going to use some 2D text for this. So let's do this one. Yeah, I think my wall is split, so I was adding a different texture. But I'm going to go ahead and insert a mirror. So I'm going to come into my Autodesk family and look for a mirror and load that in. Then I'm going to come to my floor plan and component, and I'm going to place a mirror. And I'll make sure my elevation, I think, let's try, let's actually try 3 feet, and then I'm gonna get the center of that. Center of that to the center of that. Okay, and now I've got a mirror. So what we want to do is make sure that we tag everything on this. So I think I'll start with my dimensions. So I've got this, and then to the bottom of that. And then I've got this dimension over here. And then I'm going to use a 2D annotation. We'll talk about actually applying things to walls a little bit later. But I'm going to come over here to annotate and region. I'm going to do my filled region. And then I'm just going to make a box over here And the filled region, it has it as diagonal crosshatch. That works for me, so I'm going to click OK. So now I have something that looks like tile. So I'm going to add a text, and I'm going to make sure there's a leader line to my text. And I'm going to come out here and I'm going to say this is going to be tile 1. Then over here is going to be maybe paint 2. I'm also going to use a detail line to continue my base. Um, so in order to copy, like if I want to copy this tag, I'm going to select it once, and then I'm going to click Control on my keyboard and then just drag it down, and that's how you can copy something. I do want to make sure that that's in line with the other tag that I have. And maybe this is base 2. And then we'll need a countertop material. So maybe quartz 2. And then maybe our cabinet is a laminate finish. So we'll do a P-lam for laminate. So depending on what you want to do, take a look at the example for guidance on what to tag and how to do the dimensions. But then you'll just do the same thing for every elevation. So once you've finished all of those, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to make sure I have my enlarged plan as well. So I'm going to come up here to View and Call Out. And this creates like a zoomed in plan of your plan. So I'm going to make a rectangle. And here it is over here, floor plan call out 1. So I'm going to rename this to enlarged bathroom plan. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here to my sheet, my enlarged plans and elevation sheets. Then I'm going to grab my enlarged bathroom plan. I'm going to drop that on my sheet. Then I'm going to come down to my elevations and we'll go north, south, east, and west. And this enlarged plan is at 1-inch scale, so I'm going to change these to 1-inch scale as well. By just double clicking in and coming down here to scale and changing it to 1 inch. I'll change that to 1 inch. And I'll double click here and change this last one to 1 inch. So I think I'll move this one in line with these. Let's see if this will fit. Might have to arrange it a little bit, maybe not in order quite, so that we can have them all fit. And then we'll want to make sure view titles span our drawing. So we'll just select the box and then move the blue line. maybe move all of those up. So we organize them onto your page, make sure they're lined up. And then you'll add tags and dimensions to all of those. And that's how we do our elevation page.